The alarm clock shrieked. 6 a.m. Another day began. Eleanor stumbled out of bed, her reflection in the mirror a hazy duplicate. She splashed water on her face, the mirror reflecting the action a beat later. Odd. Must be tired, she thought. The reflection, however, seemed eerily out of sync. She went about her routine, brushing her teeth, applying makeup, the reflection mimicking her every move. Yet, the disharmony remained, a subtle lag in the reflection's movements. It was unsettling, like a film reel slightly off, the audio out of sync with the visuals. She shook it off, attributing it to her weary mind. After all, it was just a reflection. Days passed. The delay in the mirror became more pronounced. Eleanor would raise her hand and the reflection would follow a heartbeat later. A shiver ran down her spine. She tried to ignore it, to convince herself it was just her imagination. One morning, while applying lipstick, the reflection moved on its own. It smeared the lipstick across its mouth, a grotesque imitation of her own careful application. Eleanor gasped, dropping the lipstick. It rolled into the sink, staining the porcelain a bright crimson. The reflection, however, held the lipstick perfectly still, a triumphant smirk on its painted lips. Fear coiled in her stomach. This was not right. This was not normal. She tried to rationalize it away. Stress, lack of sleep, maybe even the new lighting in the bathroom. But deep down, a primal fear bloomed. Something was wrong with the mirror. Something was wrong with her reflection. The reflection's actions grew bolder. It would wink, smile, even frown independently. Eleanor stopped looking in the mirror, avoiding her own gaze. But she could feel its eyes on her, watching, waiting. The feeling was constant, a chilling presence that followed her even outside the bathroom. Doubts gnawed at her sanity. Was she imagining things? Was she going mad? She confided in her friend Sarah, who listened with concern but obvious skepticism. "Eleanor, you need rest," Sarah said, her brow furrowed. "Maybe a vacation?" But Eleanor knew it wasn't stress or fatigue. This was something sinister, something insidious. The reflection was no longer a mere imitation. It was an entity of its own, trapped behind the glass, watching her, studying her. And it was learning. The whispers started subtly, like the rustling of leaves just beyond the realm of hearing. They always came when she was alone, especially at night, when the house creaked and groaned around her. "Let me in," the whispers hissed, barely audible at first. Eleanor tried to ignore them, burying herself in books, music, anything to drown out the sinister whispers emanating from the mirror. But the whispers persisted, growing louder, clearer, more insistent. "Let me in. We can be one." The words echoed in the silence of her room, chilling her to the bone. One morning she woke to find the reflection staring back at her with a malevolent intensity. Gone was the familiar face, replaced by a grotesque mockery, eyes too wide and hungry, a smile too sharp and predatory. This was not her reflection. This was something else. Terror gripped her. She stumbled back, knocking over a vase. The crash echoed in the room, but the reflection remained unfazed, its eyes never leaving hers. It reached out, its long, sharp fingers pressing against the glass, leaving bloody streaks on the smooth surface. Panic seized her. She was trapped, her own reflection turned tormentor. The whispers grew louder, more demanding. "Let me in, we can switch places. You can be trapped in there and I'll be free." She covered the mirror with a sheet, but it did nothing. She could still feel its eyes burning through the fabric, watching her, waiting for her to lower her defenses. Sleep offered no escape, her dreams haunted by the reflection's haunting whispers, its menacing smile. Days turned into a blurry torment. Exhaustion gnawed at her sanity. The line between reality and nightmare blurred. The reflection grew bolder, its actions more aggressive. One night she woke to find it trying to pry open the mirror, its long, sharp fingers scrabbling at the edges. She knew then that she couldn't ignore it. This entity, this doppelganger, whatever it was wouldn't rest until it took what it craved: her life, her identity. She had to fight back. Gathering all her remaining strength, Eleanor ripped the sheet off the mirror. The reflection lunged, its hand shooting out, grabbing her wrist. Its touch was icy cold, sending a jolt of terror through her. It pulled, trying to drag her into the mirror. With a desperate cry, Eleanor slammed her fist against the glass. The mirror shattered, a million shards reflecting her terrified face. The reflection screamed, its form flickering, fading as if sucked into a void. Then, silence. Eleanor collapsed, surrounded by glittering fragments of glass, the only evidence of the chilling encounter. But deep inside she knew it was not over. It had only just begun.